the role of CTO is only for the last 10-15 years of this 35 years because I started my career as an electronics engineer. So during that time, computer science was just a paper in engineering, and we used to be called as electronics engineer. Okay, I think people in my age group are the most blessed ones because the technology evolved in our time. That means when I started, it was MS-DOS, and then came Windows, and there was Fox Pro was the old database system that people used to use in those days, right? From where we were, we used to have dial-up lines in India to access internet to where we are today, technology has changed leaps and bounds.
What do you think is going to be new in this landscape?
See, change is the only constant when it comes to technology itself, right? And if you see today, AI and Gen AI is the talk of the town. For me, I look at it as how I have seen the other technology innovation that came, right? So if you take, we were the first to use 100 megabits Ethernet switch. When the Ethernet switch as a concept was invented by a company called Kalpana in US, we actually had the Kalpana Pro Stack 16, which was an Ethernet switch in India. So, but today, Ethernet switching is something which is quite common. We don't even talk about it anymore, right? So, like the technology comes in and there's a phase where that is very important. But as I said in your previous questions, right, it's very important for a tech leader to understand which technology is useful for the organization and then adopt that technology to enable and help the organization. That's very important. There will be numerous technologies that is coming up, and there'll be if you look at the S curve itself, right, you can have some technology which is at the mature stage today, some is just coming in, and some would have come and gone. So it's very important that we see what is there on the horizon, what is going to come next, and whether that is going to be having an impact on our organization, and then see how we can prepare ourselves to take that impact.
Hi everyone, you're watching the mainstream. I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today, and we are back with a new episode of our weekly live series. Today we are joined by yet another visionary leader from the tech space, Mr. Suresh Vijayaraghavan. Mr. Vijayaraghavan, thank you once again for joining us and being a part of the series.
Thank you so much for inviting me on this.
Absolutely, the pleasure is totally ours. Mr. Vijayaraghavan needs no introduction. His visionary work is well known in the industry, but I will still take some time to share a few things about him. He is currently the Chief Technology Officer at The Hindu Group. With over 35 years of global experience in the IT industry leadership, Suresh has shaped and managed transformative IT strategies across multiple industries. His expertise spans across areas like IT infrastructure management, enterprise application, IT governance, and business continuity. Recognized as the CTO of the year 2023 and 2024 and named to the CIO Power List for 2023 and 2024, he is a true visionary leader driving innovation in the tech world. Today, I'm more than excited to know more about his journey and also some critical insights that he will be sharing on emerging technologies, digital transformation, and innovation as well. Stay tuned as we will be covering his journey, and Mr. Vijayaraghavan will also be sharing some critical insights into the world of emerging technologies, AI, and digital transformation as well. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Mr. Suresh, you've had over more than 3 decades in the industry as a Chief Technology Officer. Can you tell us a bit about how this journey has been and what's your current role, if you could give a glimpse about that?
Yeah, I think the role of CTO is only for the last 10-15 years of this 35 years because I started my career as an electronics engineer. So during that time, computer science was just a paper in engineering, and we used to be called as electronics engineer. Okay, I think people in my age group are the most blessed ones because the technology evolved in our time. That means when I started, it was MS-DOS, and then came Windows, and there was Fox Pro was the old database system that people used to use in those days, right? From where we were, we used to have dial-up lines in India to access internet to where we are today, technology has changed leaps and bounds. So my journey as an electronics engineer at the Hindu from 1988, where I am today, has also seen all these changes that have happened in the whole industry itself. The technological changes that have happened, the advancement that has come this whole 3 decades. We were lucky enough to actually be part of this change, and we are also lucky enough to be people who have influenced this change in some way or other.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse about this wonderful journey. Next, I want to understand from you. You're currently the CTO at The Hindu, which is a big publishing media house. I'm sure you've played major key roles when it comes to shaping the tech landscape. How do you approach the challenge of aligning technology with business objective as a leader?
The first foremost thing that I would say is that we must take a holistic approach when it comes to technology, and this approach should span across people, organization, process, information, and technology itself. So unless you have this holistic approach, it's not easy to handle the technology changes within the organization. That's one important thing, have a holistic approach. And second most important thing is we must understand the ecosystem in which this organization operates. I'd worked in various domains in 35 years, and each domain has been a new experience for me because each domain had its own ecosystem in which that organization was operating. So I learned that it's very important for leaders to understand the ecosystem of the organization, and in today's context, understand the digital ecosystem in which your organization operates. This is very important. And compared to where I was when I started, as I said, right, where it was MS-DOS, right? But today we need to be very clear that we should differentiate between essential IT and strategic IT. About 15-20 years back, having an ERP system was considered strategic, but today it is not the case. ERP is essential in any organization. That means you can't even start a proper business and scale if you don't have an ERP system, right? It's not strategic anymore. So it's very important that we understand what forms the essential part of IT and what are all strategic from an IT standpoint, which means we need to identify those business objectives that are dependent on technology, where technology can be used to enable or enhance those objectives. That's very important. So understand, okay, I can use this technology to enhance and help this objective of the organization. That's what very important from a strategy standpoint. And the other important point is we must also be able to identify technology that can help create distinct competencies, because see how an organization is differentiating itself when compared to its competitors. It is the distinct competency of the organization, right? People come to you for this specific feature that you have, right? Those distinct competencies, how can we help use technology to enhance them, or how can we use technology to help create new distinct competencies? So these are all the things that I consider if somebody is talking about aligning technology and business itself in today's context.
Wonderful. Along the lines, you, like I said earlier, you've spent about 35 years in the tech space, and I'm sure you've seen the IT landscape evolve over the period of time. How do you, as a leader, envision the next coming years? What do you think is going to be new in this landscape?
See, change is the only constant when it comes to technology itself, right? And if you see today, AI and Gen AI is the talk of the town. For me, I look at it as how I have seen the other technology innovation that came, right? So if you take, we were the first to use 100 megabits Ethernet switch. When the Ethernet switch as a concept was invented by a company called Kalpana in US, we actually had the Kalpana Pro Stack 16, which was an Ethernet switch in India. So, but today Ethernet switching is something which is quite common. We don't even talk about it anymore, right? So, like the technology comes in, and there's a phase where that is very important. But as I said in your previous questions, right, it's very important for a tech leader to understand which technology is useful for the organization, and then adopt that technology to enable and help the organization. That's very important. There'll be numerous technologies that is coming up, and there'll be if you look at the S curve itself, right, you can have some technology which is at a mature stage today, some is just coming in, and some would have come and gone. So it's very important that we see what is there on the horizon, what is going to come next, and whether that is going to be having an impact on our organization, and then see how we can prepare ourselves to take that impact. What is going to happen in about 10 years back, at least we had the privilege of telling, okay, this will happen in the next 2 years, 3 years. Today, I don't think we can tell even in the next 3 months what's going to happen. That's the pace with which technology is changing. So rather than looking at what will happen in the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, I think we should look at what is available within our ability to see in the next 1 quarter, 2 quarter, and then see how that can be used to leverage the organization. That's how I would like to take now, because things are changing very fast now.
Right. And like you said, AI is already taking the center stage. It is transforming nearly every industry. So along these lines, how do you think, emerging technologies like AI will impact the future of publishing in media houses, large organizations, especially like yourself? How do you think it will make a drastic change?
Even digital by itself has impacted a lot the publishing industry, right? Especially print publishing houses like us, where we are primarily known to have daily editions being published, right? Digitization itself has impacted us a lot. We are looking at now we had started that journey about 5 years back itself, that we were online, and we are looking at subscriptions being done online. So AI, even before this Gen AI came in, we have started using the classic AI. I have used that terminology for lack of something else. What was already there called AI/ML, right? So we are using that on our subscription platforms to profile our content, to profile our subscribers, so understand what is that a subscriber is reading, so that we can provide more such content back to the subscriber, increases engagement to us, so that we can either make them continue the subscription, or somebody who has just come into our site, make them go for a subscription. So we have been using this AI ML in the classic way already, but Gen AI has transformed. It's bringing a completely new, different perspective into us, and we waited for the initial hype and thing to settle down, because initially it was like it could do everything, but after lots of experiments, we know what it can do, what it cannot do. And within the Hindu, there are lots of experiments that has been used to see how AI can be used by the journalists. At the end of the day, our product is journalism, and technology is a means through which we bring the journalism to subscribers. So we are seeing how we can use this technology to help our journalists in their day-to-day work in terms of bringing out new content, right? So helping them to generate content should not be the core, if you ask me, because that's what a journalist is supposed to do. But how can you use this technology to enable him to do a better content? So like helping him to create summaries, helping him to look for alternate headlines, or helping him to find related articles from our archive. That's a very big project that we are doing. See, we have 150 years of archives with us digitized, and we are now trying to see how we can use this Gen AI, wherein if I'm working on a specific topic today, Hindu would have published numerous articles in the past based on this topic, right? How we can use Gen AI to bring those topics into focus for the journalist, so that he can enhance his content and probably provide links to those articles telling, okay, we are writing about this now, but this is how it has been 15 years back, 20 years back, 50 years back. Right, that's the type of work that we are trying to see how, as I said, right, where it is going to be used as a normal thing like general IT, where we are going to use this to enhance our distinct competencies. So our competency is that we have this 150 years of published articles digitized format, and where we can use the Gen AI capabilities to help the journalist to pull out relevant content from there to enhance his new content that he's creating, or we can allow our subscribers to go and search for relevant content on a specific topic from our archives. That's how we are looking at how Gen AI can itself be used. But of course, we use it for so many other things, and I would see 50% of that being standard ways of helping journalists. That means it helps you to improve your productivity, but it may not be strategic in any point. Might be there's another 50% where it being strategically used.
Right. I think that's a very futuristic approach, and we all can take some inspiration from that. Thank you so much, Mr. Vijayaraghavan, to throw some light on that. Moving on, I do have another question for you. You have been awarded the Indian Achievers Award for CTO of the Year, and also been named in the CIO Power List. What has been the most rewarding projects or accomplishments in your career so far?
So if you ask me, there are two projects which I would say, but they all may not be from the recent past. They may be from the remote past, right? So 1992-93, when during my first stint with the Hindu, we were navigating the journey from manual page making, and we used to have what is called the page fax transmitters that transmits a full page from our primary site in Chennai to remote printing sites to digital computerized page making. But was this year of 5 to 7 years where the digitized page or computerized page making technology has not evolved enough to be used in a large scale project, the newspaper. We had desktop publishing available those days, but not to the extent that can be used in newspapers. But our facsimile machines, which were getting older and no more new machines were being made. That means our whole concept of having a centralized editorial, making pages in Chennai, but printing those pages in 7 remote printing locations across the country was based on these facsimile systems. So we need to extend lifetime of those machines for another 5 years. So we embarked on a digital project where when I say digital, it's a hardware project, not digital in the current sense where digital means it's more mobiles and other things. It's pure hardware where we use the old machines which used to run on valves. Before transistors, there were valves in electronics. So those were machines that used valves, and we actually discarded the valves, but we built digital circuits that would operate those machines and still work for us for another 5 years. So that was a complete in-house project where I was involved in the hardware design, and we actually compressed the data stored in computers and transmitted them to remote site, decompressed and recorded back. This whole project was done in-house, and I was a key member in that project. For me, that was a fulfilling project because you actually work hands-on on technology, building something that actually does the work that you want to do, right? That's one big thing I would say. That's very satisfying. I don't think there is any other project that I have done so far has given me that much of satisfaction as that complete hardware project that we did in-house. I'm talking about 92-93 timeframes. Okay. And of late, if you look at the last 5 years, the digital transformation journey that we have taken through the Hindu from a print first concept to a digital first concept, bringing up the whole technology stack inside that can support this multimedia storytelling, as we call it today, is probably, I would say, the second most satisfying project for me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing these projects with us, Mr. Vijayaraghavan. And lastly, I want to know from you, in today's fast-paced, changing digital landscape, what advice would you like to give to aspiring tech professionals who are looking to make an impact in the industry?
Okay, so one change is the only constant. As I said, technology keeps changing, and as a tech professional, we have to always be up to date with what is happening with the change. Right? That's very important. But what I would actually, if you ask me, the most important lesson that I have learned in this 35 years is success is not because of something that what we have done. There are lots of things which is beyond our scope or beyond our control that has actually contributed to our success. So it's very important for us to understand and accept that 80% external contribution is the source reason for we being successful, and accept that. And that contribution can come from people around you, people whom we have not met, people who have indirectly helped you to be successful, right? And failures also the same way. If you had failed, it may not be because that you have done something wrong. There are so many things that has contributed against you in that specific project or something. So understand this, both success and failures has external contributing factors. Next, how actually you succeed. That is something that they will. Don't attribute the success completely to you. Don't attribute the failures also completely to you.
Absolutely. And I think we come towards the last leg of our session, which is the rapid fire round. So before that, I just want to take a moment, Mr. Vijayaraghavan, to thank you so much for sharing these critical insights and also giving us a glimpse about your journey. Moving on, we just have a couple of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, yes.
Great. If you were not in the tech space, what would you be pursuing?
I would be teaching.
Okay. And your favorite tech gadget right now?
At this moment, I'm not a gadget person, to be very frank. Okay. After work, I'm to myself. I don't use any gadgets.
So you completely sign off post-work?
Yes.
Great. AI or human intuition, who wins in decision-making according to you?
Human intuition.
Absolutely. If you had to pick one, would you rather work in a bustling city or a quiet remote work town?
I would like to maintain my quietness inside in spite of where I am.
Wonderfully put. And lastly, what's the most unexpected thing you have learned so far in your career?
In fact, that's the answer I gave to you when you asked me what you wanted to tell the youngsters, right?
Right.
I learned that success is not solely because of what I did.
Wonderful. And I think, like I said, this conversation has been rather inspirational and insightful as well. Mr. Vijayaraghavan, thank you once again for being a part of the live series. And while we conclude today's session, I definitely look forward to connecting back with you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and you have rekindled my memories, and I'm sure this is going to be with me for at least for a couple of days now.
I'm glad to do that. Absolutely glad to do that. And I think we can definitely, have more such conversations around tech, AI, emerging technologies, and the conversion of business as well. So thank you once again for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. Yeah, thank you.